Hey guys, this week we are going to be looking at multiplying fractions. We've already done a little bit of this, so hopefully this will be review for the most part. Let's start by looking at the section on the right. Right here, where it starts with the word I can know how to determine if a quantity increases or decreases when multiplied by a fraction. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be figuring out, is the answer going to be greater than, or is it going to increase, or is it going to decrease? Those are the things that we're going to be looking at and how to figure that out. Multiplying a number and a proper fraction here is what we're looking at. A proper fraction represents a quantity that has a value less than 0. Okay, let's read that again. A proper fraction represents a quantity that has a value less than 0. It's a proper fraction, okay? The value of a quantity multiplied by a proper fraction will decrease. That's important. Word form. The expression 5/8 times 1/2 asks, what is 1/2 of 5/8? That kind of helps us to see what's going on in our question. Now look at 3 down here. Multiplying a number and an improper fraction. An improper fraction represents a quantity that has a value greater than 0. Okay, so that's important. An improper fraction represents a quantity that has a value greater than 0. That's going to help us with what we're going to be doing later whenever we figure out if it's going to be a decrease or an increase. The value of a quantity multiplied by an improper fraction will increase. Again, that's very important. The value of a quantity multiplied by an improper fraction will increase. So if you multiply by an improper fraction, you are going to get an increase. Word form. The expression 5/8 times 4/3 asks, what is 4/3 of 5/8? That's what it's asking you. Okay, now look at the practice section. Indicate if the quantity will increase or decrease when multiplied by a fraction. So I want you to look at your numerators and denominators on this very first one. So I have 1/2 and I'm multiplying it by 1/8. The numerator is smaller than the denominator on each one of those. So that's going to give us a decrease. That's how we figured out that that was going to decrease whenever we multiplied those fractions together. Now look at the next one. We have 4/9, but we're multiplying that by 7/3. So 4/9, that's a fraction where the numerator is smaller than the denominator. But 7/3, the numerator is larger than the denominator of 3 right here. So that means that we're going to get an increase. Next question. 3/5 times 5/3. Again, my first fraction, the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So I'm not going to see an increase with this one, but I'm multiplying by a fraction where the numerator is larger than the denominator, which is 3. So that does indicate we are going to get an increase. Next, our fraction is 2/3 times 1/10. 2/3 here times 1/10. Okay, both of those are fractions where the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So in this case, we're going to get a decrease. 14/15 times 14/20. And when I look at those, the numerator is smaller than the denominator when I look at those on both of them. So again, we're going to have a decrease. Okay. So next, we're going to go to our next slide. We're still multiplying fractions. I know how to multiply fractions and mixed numbers. So this time, we're going to add some mixed numbers with it. How can parking a car help us remember how to multiply fractions? One of the things that they said was because of parallel parking. You're thinking you're just going to go all the way across whenever you are multiplying. So if you think about parallel parking whenever you are multiplying these fractions, that's going to help you. Now look at our second section where it says multiply fractions. It looks like this. Multiply the numerators. Then we're going to multiply the denominators. And we're going to simplify if necessary. Okay? Parallel park is our mnemonic. So we're going to draw parallel lines. They did that here and here. Through the numerators and the denominators, and park the product across the equal sign. So 2 times 1 is 2. So we got our answer here. And then 3 times 5 is 15. And we got our answer here for our denominator. Now we're going to find the product on this next one. 1 times 3 is 3. And 2 times 4 is 8. And there we go. We found it. Number 3, multiply mixed numbers. Convert the mixed numbers into improper fractions. So this is what we have to do if we're going to be multiplying them. So follow the steps to multiply. It says to find the product. Now, they need to be mixed numbers. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 2 and get 6. And then add the 1 and I get 7. So now I have 7 thirds. And I'm multiplying that by 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So I'm going to multiply that by 3 over 2. 7 times 3 is 21, and 3 times 2 is 6. So that's 21 divided by 6. So I'm going to work that out. 21 divided by 6. Put a 3 here. That's 18. With 3 left over, that's my remainder. So I have 3 and 3/6. I know that 3 plus 3 is 6, so that's 1/2. So I end up with 3 and 1/2, which is right here. So we worked that one correctly. Okay. Now erase so that we can look at our next one. We'll have to do the same thing. We're going to have to multiply so that we end up with an improper fraction. 5 times 1 2/7. So I really don't have to do anything to the 5 except put it over 1. So that's going to be 5 over 1 times 1 times 7 is 7 plus 2 is 9. 9/7. So now I'm going to multiply. Remember our parallel park. 5 times 9 is 45. And I'm dividing by 7. So now I've got 45 divided by 7. 7 times 6 is 42. 5 minus 2 is 3. And so I end up with 6 and 3/7. The 3 was our remainder. It becomes our numerator. The 7 was our divisor, and it becomes our denominator. You guys did a great job with that one. You're staying with me, and that's fabulous. Let's erase so we can look at our next section. On this one, it says that we're going to be modeling. So we're going to be working some problems. 1/2 times 2/5. So I'm going to be multiplying those together. 1/2 times 2/5 make a grid that represents the product of the denominator. So that would be 2 here times the 5 here. So I got that from my denominators 2 and 5. Okay, now it says to shade in the sections to represent the product of the numerators. So the product is 2/10, so we shaded in these 2 sections out of the 10 that are there. Thank you guys. Hopefully this will help you with your multiplication of fractions. Thank you.